How y'all doing? So today I've got an interesting topic, and we cover a fair few things in this, and it starts to expand on the teachings and the understanding of the student of life and game of life teachings. And you know, a lot of people are unaware of the game, or they think they're playing the game of life, but really they're playing the man-made game. Most of us, including me most of the time, or a lot of the time anyway. And the man-made game is a game that has its limitations. It's been constructed by man, and it's around surviving, fitting in, and control, basically. And then there's another game. There is another game beyond that. And this is the game of life. And this is looking at and experiencing life as the teacher. Our experience is the curriculum. Our environment as the classroom or the playground. And us as students and players in this incredible game. When we can witness life this way, it's much more expansive. There's so much more. We start to recognize patterns because life always communicates in patterns. Through nature, it communicates in seasons and cycles and different ways. As human beings, we move it through in different seasons and cycles as well, because we're part of nature. We also too have patterns that show up in our thinking, in our emotions, in our behaviour. In everyday life, there's always patterns, synchronicities showing up, different signs that we're not often relating to because we're thinking with inside a different format, which is the man-made game that doesn't allow for this extraordinary and incredible nature of life to share in its an expansive nature. So when we start to tune into that and we look at firstly becoming the student, and why the student before the player, you see, the student, as we see it in the game of life, in the student of life, is open, curious, aware, starting to recognise and realise patterns, experience, experiment, explore. And it's that curiosity that opens us up to the possibility of more, to share and experience life as it is. And then from there, we actively engage. We actively engage as the player and start to participate in life in this way, show up in this way, act, respond, behave in this way. When we do this, it's very different. If we try and be the player without actually being the student of life first, we're playing the man-made game, and we may be working hard, working at it, but there's going to be a level of forcefulness, there's going to be a level of us needing to achieve or accomplish, there's going to be a level of needing to fit in to a certain way of doing things. It's just how that system works, that system of thought works. So we're going to be playing the man-made game. When we can be the student first, open, curious, aware, expansive, witnessing as a student what nature is showing us, what life is showing us, but also too what's happening within ourselves. The student of life is a self-exploration, as we are the ones interpreting our experience of life. So then we actively engage from there. The active participation from there is moving in a different way. There's a lightness to it. There's movement. We're operating in a different way of functioning. Very expansive, and doing what needs to happen, what we feel is right at the right time, when it needs to happen. Doesn't matter what people think from there. See, in the man-made game, our own construction of that is going to be needing to fit into a certain way. Whereas outside of that, when we're experiencing life, witnessing the patterns, being a student, we operate from here and we're not bound by that same structure. So this is it. This is how it works. This is the difference between the man-made game. And then when I say the man-made game, when people like say, oh, this is the system, it's the problem, the politics, this and that. Yes. And we constructed that. So at some stage, we may not have had a choice because we were born into a certain culture. We were taught a certain way. We were shown a certain way. So our system downloaded that information as its format. So we became part of that. And then, but we did create that. Everything that's within that we created. So we also too can create beyond that. And when we become a student of life and start to experience things in that way, we start to create a whole different reality, a whole different way of thinking, feeling, doing and being. So just remember that. It puts the power back into our hands, life's hands as well, as a collaborative engagement in this. Because when we realise that everything that we experience comes through our filters, we constructed all that, well, we can rearrange it. It's that simple. And think, hold on a sec, matey. We think of the metaphor of, sorry. Hey, Bob. We think of the metaphor of the game and look at it as a game it's either a game of chess or a game of checkers. Played on the same board, but totally different games, totally different rules. So, and they're both fine, but there's a different outcome to both. And so when we think we're playing checkers, or we should be playing checkers when we should be playing chess, there's a mismatch. So just look at it like that. And just know life is always responding to us. And life is always responding. So the question is, what game are we responding to? Don't grab that, mate. Because the thing is, there's only really one game that we're going to be responding to and be able to respond from. And the other one we're going to be reacting from. And that's just how it is. So have a think about that. Much love.